Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's meditation on death, featuring the Tibetan Book of the Dead. After our dropping into the space, we'll be covering the common and the uncommon preliminary practices. And a good friend of mine had a wonderful suggestion to record these, and this was a fantastic suggestion as I've just been kind of recovering the preliminary practices over the last few weeks, and this will allow us to actually start to progress through the text and through the teachings. So thank you, Chase, for that. I really appreciate it. And yeah, let's just go ahead and settle in. Get yourself in a nice comfy position. Wherever you're sitting, whether it's on the floor or in a chair. Let's close down the eyes. Let's begin by taking a few deep breaths down deep into the belly. Each breath going a little bit deeper than you did the breath before. Start to feel your womb or testicle space expand. So you take those full-bellied, full-bodied breaths. Notice the coming in and receding out of the breath. Like the tide of the ocean. You may even visualize it this way. And just begin to feel the points of contact along the chair or the floor, where your body connects with the earth. Feeling those points of contact. And where you meet the rest of the world. And continuing to breathe deeply. Just feel into the body. Beginning with the toes. Begin to use your awareness to scan up through the body. Noticing any points of contraction or tension, or looseness or aliveness. Working your way up now through the thighs and the waist. Up through the chest and breathe. Deep into that heart center. As you spread out into the arms and the hands and the fingers. Working your way up to the neck, the chin, the face, the top of the head. Feeling your breath coming in, washing out like the tide. Just feel yourself in this moment. Feel how you've never been here yet before and never will be here again. And so we reflect on the ephemerality and impermanence the basic condition of our existence. We were treated to a wonderful thunderstorm earlier this week here in Austin. Steady downpour, roar of Mother Nature herself. And now it's gone. There will be other storms that follow, for sure. But that storm has come and gone, just like the last million breaths you've taken. And before we begin the common and uncommon preliminary practices, I'll just briefly introduce them. These are meant to be performed in the morning, as we're doing them now, to bear in mind and keep death on our shoulder as we proceed throughout our day. These practices come from the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which is a guide on how to let go of all of that which is not true, so that we can remember who we actually are. And it's meant to serve as a practice, not just for our daily life, but for the moment of death as well, to treat the moment of death as any other moment. As I read from the text, you can keep your eyes closed, you can keep them open. Just maintain focus on your breath. Let the words permeate through your awareness. Oh, alas, alas, fortunate child of Buddha nature, do not be oppressed by the forces of ignorance and delusion, but rise up now with resolve and courage. Entranced by ignorance, for beginningless time until now, you have had more than enough time to sleep. So do not slumber any longer, but strive after virtue with body, speech, and mind. Are you oblivious to the sufferings of birth, old age, sickness, and death? There is no guarantee that you will survive even past this very day. The time has come for you to develop perseverance and practice. For at the singular opportunity, you could attain the everlasting bliss. So now is certainly not the time to sit idly, but starting with the reflection on death, you should bring your practice to completion. The moments of our life are not expendable, and the circumstances of death are beyond imagination. If you do not achieve an undaunted, confident security now, what point is there in your being alive, O living creature? All phenomena are selfless, empty, and free from conceptual elaboration. In their dynamic, they resemble an illusion, mirage, dream, or reflected image. A celestial city, an echo, a reflection of the moon in water, a bubble, an optical illusion, or an intangible emanation. You should know that all things of cyclic existence and nirvana accord in nature with these 10 similes of illusory phenomena. All phenomena are naturally uncreated. They neither abide nor cease, neither come nor go. They are without objective referent, signless, ineffable, and free from thought. The time has come for this truth to be realized. Homage to our spiritual teachers, homage to the meditational deities, and homage to the Dakinis. Oh, alas, alas, how needing of compassion are those living beings tortured by their past actions, drowning in this deep chasm, this engulfing ocean of past action. Such is the nature of fluctuating cyclic existence. Grant your blessing so that this ocean of sufferings may run dry. How needing of compassion are those who are skillless, those who are tortured by ignorance and past actions, those who indulge in actions conducive to suffering, even though they desire happiness. Grant your blessing so that the obscuration of dissonant mental states and past actions may be purified. How needing of compassion are the ignorant and the deluded, bound in this confining dungeon of egotistical attachment and the subject-object dichotomy, who, like wild game, are trapped in this snare time after time. Grant your blessing so that cyclic existence may be stirred to its depths. How needing of compassion are those beings who endlessly revolve in the cycle of existence, as if circling perpetually on the rim of a water wheel in the six-dimensional city of imprisoning past actions. Grant your blessing so that the womb entrances to the six classes of existence may be barred. We who are fearless and hard-hearted, despite having seen so many sufferings of birth, old age, sickness, and death, are wasting our human lives endowed with freedom and opportunity on the paths of distraction. Grant your blessing so that we may remember impermanence and death. Since we do not recognize that impermanent things are unreliable, still, even now, we remain attached, clinging to this cycle of existence. Wishing for happiness, we pass our human lives in suffering. Grant your blessing so that attachment to cyclic existence may be reversed. Our impermanent environment will be destroyed by fire and water. The impermanent sentient beings within it will endure the severing of body and mind. The seasons of the year, summer, winter, autumn, and spring, themselves exemplify impermanence. Grant your blessing so that disillusionment with conditioned existence may arise from the depths of our hearts. Last year, this year, the waxing and waning moons, the days, nights, and indivisible time moments are all impermanent. If we reflect carefully, we too are face to face with death. Grant your blessing so that we may become resolute in our practice. Though this body endowed with freedom and opportunity is extremely hard to find, when the Lord of death approaches in the semblance of disease, how needing of compassion are those who, bereft of the sacred teachings, return empty-handed from this life. Grant your blessing so that a recognition of urgency may grow in our minds. Alas, alas, O precious jewel, embodiment of compassion. Since you, the conqueror, are endowed with a loving heart, grant your blessing so that we and the six classes of beings may be liberated right now from the sufferings of cyclic existence. There is no guarantee that you will survive even past this very day. How often do we fail to recognize this? How often do we take given that the people that we love, that existence as we know it will be there tomorrow? And how shattered are we when we come face to face with reality? And what would it look like if we were to bring to every interaction, to every breath, to every moment, the recognition that it is not given? How would we touch the people that we know? the people that we come into contact with, the trees, the ground. How would we greet our experience if we felt every moment to be so precious? And how much do we strive after things that will be destroyed by fire and water? Endowed with freedom and chasing distraction. We'll speak a lot about impermanence and permanence over the coming weeks, and what this tradition, and namely what all mystical traditions aim towards, is the recognition of what is permanent. And most traditions come to some conclusion around God. The God is the only permanent thing. And there are various interpretations of that, certainly. But what the writers of this text and those that follow it will turn our attention towards is that there is an awareness within that never ceases, that can be felt even during deep, dreamless sleep, and which can be rested in upon the moment of death. So as we enter into the world today, may we forgive ourselves for the many mistakes that we've made, and let us not turn away death as we have so often done, but keep her on our shoulder. A recognition of what a precious jewel every moment and every soul and every spirit is.